Yesterday, Cardano closed its lowest candle on the daily chart in over a year. Cardano has been going down now for a few months, and this week it has been heavily in the news, but not for the right reasons. Today, we're going to discuss what is happening in Cardano while also looking at the charts to let you know what might be happening next with the price. Before I jump into the charts, and there are some things both bullish and bearish showing up there, I want to talk about a couple of articles that have come out this week about Cardano. The first story has to do with the personal life of Charles Hoskinson, and this is at the moment a story that we're just not going to talk about because we do not talk about the rumors of personal lives of creators of cryptocurrency, but rather what those cryptocurrencies are doing and what the price outcome could be. The second story has to do with the project Cardano itself, and we will dive in. Now, on our show, Coffee and Crypto Live, we discussed this past week how an article came out that said that whales have grown their wallets in Cardano by 40%, implying that whales are starting to come back into the Cardano space. This would be major bullish news and bullish price movement for Cardano. However, certain influencers are calling for potential FUD or FOMO into the space, saying that this article does not tell the full story. They go on to show graphs showing that back before, over a year ago, Cardano's whale ratio was way higher than it is right now. And so this massive price drop that has happened in Cardano over the last 4 to 5 months was due to whales actually leaving the space. So the article talking about 40% increase is more of a misleading metric showing that whales are not actually that significant in the space. I have two rebuttals to this argument. The first is that no matter what the whale ratio went down in the last couple of months, the fact still stands that the metrics are showing that in the last couple of weeks, it has grown by 40%. This is bullish. Now, where it was before to where it is now isn't as big of a deal as the fact that as it stands right now, whales are starting to come back into the Cardano space. My second rebuttal to this argument is that if the argument that someone is trying to make is that there are too many retail investors in a space and not enough whales, I don't really like that argument because the whole point of decentralized currency is that retail investors are not overpowered and manipulated and controlled by whales. So in fact, this argument works in the favor of Cardano that we see the space becoming way more dominant with retail investors rather than whales who could own a majority of the space and manipulate a decentralized currency. So rather than seeing this as a downside, I actually see this as a positive for Cardano. And I'm sure there's a lot more information we could discuss there, but as it stands right now, people need to know that fundamentally Cardano is rising. You can't refute the fact that number of whales coming into the space is increasing. That is smart money coming back into space. You can't deny the fact that retail investors have stayed in, meaning there's a strong case for decentralization of Cardano. You also cannot negate the fact that we have seen metrics such as daily volume transactions outpace that of even Bitcoin. These are all majorly bullish cases for Cardano, which imply that the future is bright for the project. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna have problems with that, and sometimes people just disagree. Ultimately, Cardano at this point in time is a project that some people just love to hate on and others love to love. No matter where you stand on this issue, we continue to urge you to do your own research and to invest wisely. You shouldn't simply listen to one influencer or the other and make your decisions based solely off of their words, but rather listen to what they're talking about, do your own research, and invest properly. Now let's go ahead and jump on the technicals for Cardano and show you what is happening because we are seeing things both bullish and bearish. The first thing, again, as I mentioned in the opening, this is the lowest close that we have seen in over a year. Now this is significant because even though we've seen wicks come down even lower as far as 74 cents, this daily close at 79 shows us that this is a new wrestling point between the bears and the bulls. Now how significant it is still to be determined. But as for now, this is a daily close that our price is continue to wrestle around as it is sitting at 80 cents at this moment. Now, this can be seen as a bearish thing or it can be seen as a bullish thing. Let me explain. The price action currently is in a falling wedge, and while the falling wedge has both lower highs and lower lows, sending the price down, falling wedges 70% of the time end up breaking bullish. The problem, however, is we don't know when it will happen. If all I was looking at is the formation of a falling wedge, I don't know if that price is going to find support right now and rally to break. I don't know if it's going to come down potentially as far as 68 cents and then break. I don't know if it's going to come down and come to 68, bounce back up, hit resistance, come down even lower. I've seen people even preparing themselves for a 50-cent Cardano. But the good news is that Cardano is setting itself up for a bullish breakout. To kind of further talk about this bullish breakout, we've discussed now for a while that Cardano is one of the few projects that has set up daily bullish RSI divergence. I've talked about this in other videos, but long story short, trends seem to end and change. They're going both up and down, being called by daily bullish or bearish RSI divergences. What do I mean by that? As you can see, the price continues to go down, and that's why we kind of thought we might see a breakout back here around $1. You see the price went down, but the RSI bottoms went up. Well, even though we didn't break bullish then, right now we are setting it up all over again. As you can see, we're continuing to set lower closings on price action, but at the same time, we are seeing higher lows on our RSI. Now, this isn't a guarantee, but this is just the second detail that's showing that Cardano could be in store for a breakout coming very soon. Now moving to the 4-hourly chart, because this tells us what's probably going to be happening within the next 24 to 72 hours. We have a couple lines of significance that we must pay attention to. The first thing is these red lines that have been set now for a while. I've made other videos based off these lines on key RSI points. Here is the good news, is that this trend line that came back up that made bearish RSI divergence, bringing us back down, that is now canceled out. So for all intents and purposes, I'm not paying attention on the 4-hourly chart to these levels that much at all. In fact, the only ones that I'm really looking at starting out is right here. The reason I like that point is because this is a peak in price and a peak in RSI that has a pretty high RSI point. So we have a lot of room to run on our RSI before we are in danger of setting up bearish RSI divergence. What do I mean by that? The price, if we can move it up to and around the region of 96 to 98 cents without the RSI going over 63, we would still be having a healthy run on the 4-hourly chart to make a rally. The problem would be if our price does not get as high as 68 cents, but our RSI exceeds 63. Again, that would set up bearish RSI divergence, which might confuse some of you, but just know at the moment, due to this recent price drop, Cardano actually has created for itself a lot of wiggle room. In fact, what we're seeing happen right now is bullish RSI divergence set up on the 4-hourly chart, just like daily. In the same way we'd look at the bottoms of the price and the RSI action, look at how, despite the fact that price continues to decline, the RSI is actually bottomed out and starting to flatten. Now, this is not as strong as if the RSI had stayed higher, but it is still a flat bottom on the RSI compared to a drop in price, which means that that is still a strong level of bullish RSI divergence. The last thing I want to show you guys to give you guys maybe a spark of hope that Cardano is getting close to the bottom is if we go back out to the daily chart, we are getting extremely close to the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. And yes, there's still a lot of potentials here. We could extend and go oversold on those Bollinger Bands, but a lot of times these will show us the bottoms or a bouncing space for a price action. So what could happen is the price come down, touch the bottom of these Bollinger Bands, maybe back around 76 cents before we actually see a relief rally happening. So at this point, we have seen bullish news come out. We've seen confusing FUD articles come out as well. We've seen things come out that need to be addressed. But as it stands right now, fundamentally, Cardano is still in a good spot. The technicals are showing us that despite this price continuing to drop, a reversal should be coming soon. And I know that that's not the answer a lot of people want to hear because they're very frustrated that their Cardano wallets, their Cardano holdings are continuing in the red. But everything that comes down, if it is strong fundamentally, will end up coming back up. So, is this a time to buy? Is this a time to sell? I'm going to leave that one up to you, but I'm just letting you know that I am still extremely bullish on Cardano long term, and every time that price goes down, it just becomes a better buying spot if I think it's actually going to rally long term. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Again, if you love this content, hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely consider subscribing because we're trying to help you become financially free in these cryptocurrency markets. And also, consider following us on Twitter @CryptoJeb for more updates on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Peace.